Students who are in the online. So, hmm? Online students, am I audible to you? Okay. So now let us move to the further. Today, a very important topic and more important and more lengthy topic. OOPS, we will start. So who studied OOPS already in your colleges? Girls, who studied OOPS? Telling lies, not correct. Who studied? Studied, not remembering. Okay. Boys, who remembered? Who studied first? Tell me. Who studied? Studied, huh? Studied but forget. Hmm. Okay. Studied but not getting it correctly. Okay, Giridharan, nice. So now I'm going to say OOPS full form. What is the full form of OOPS? Object oriented programming. What is that? Yes. Huh? Sir. Huh? Yes, yes, meaning I'm asking. Hmm? Now you are getting a doubt. OOP, you know, OOP. Object oriented programming. What is that? Yes. మీకు తెలియదు అది. You don't know. And you will invent by yourself. System, software, structure. You will tell all the things. Okay. Now, my dear students, so, sir, it's a way to say hmm, like that. Now, students, nobody will ask what is OOPS full form. Now, I want to tell something, my experience. When I was a student, I got the question in my fourth year, I got it. In Viva, I got what is OOPS? Like you, I said full form. He said, okay, go. Coming and going. All the members, only one question. What is OOPS? Everybody is saying object oriented programming. System, I said. He said, wrong. My friend coming. My number is 12. Another friend is coming 13. In the middle, way is there or not? Is going in, I am coming out. Is while that person is going, I am coming out. Intersection area is there or not? He asked, what is the question he's asking? Same question. I said, object oriented program system, I said. And my friend is asking what he said. Wrong, he said. And what should I say? My friend is asking. Say structure. I said system. He said wrong. You say structure. He said structure. He said wrong. Go. Everybody system structure or somebody says something they said whatever they will invent. Students will invent everything on their own. Now finally what is happening? Because my nature is if somebody says wrong, I want to find out what is the correct answer also. He came out. After the YY is over, he came out because they come from other college. So he's taking his bike. We went there and I asked that sir, what is the whoops? He said, what you answered. He's smiling and what you answered. Object oriented structure, I said. System, I said. Wrong, I said, no, why you are asking again? Sir, what is the correct answer? My friend is also there. Object oriented programming systems, he said. He said wrong. Sir, what is the correct answer? We asked. He started a kick. By the time he started his bike, he said, I don't know, he said. He went off. Really, you don't know. That's if you know, definitely you will show your super power now. Correct or not? If you don't know, then only you will say, really, he said, don't know. We asked a question, sir, how many marks you gave? Gave 4950, 4950. We verified our marks 5050. Everybody 5050, 4950, like that. No taste. No taste. Everybody 4950, 4950. What is the taste? Correct or not? So that time I realized what is OOPS. So after entering into the industry, Java, we've seen that what is the OOPS in reality that I want to explain in the class. I want to explain what is the OOPS reality. This is my favorite topic. And everything is my favorite only, but more favorite is this one, right? Let us, I'm entering into the OOPS. So today, that OOPS is a very biggest index I prepared it. You search in every internet, every place you search it, you will not find that much of big index. So instead of typing that entire index, I'll show you what is the index which I'm going to discuss with you. So coming to this place, now I'm going to start with OOPS. There I'm going to take up. Here it is not there. Index is not there here. Go to 9 a.m. Under that OOPS is there. Under that OOPS is there. Under that index of OOPS. This is what I'm going to say. Amini? So when you don't know the correct answer, then he did not know your answer is wrong. Yes. Amini? Yes, he should say that. But he's a sarna that time. We are bacha in front of him. He says whatever he like it. So whatever he says, we have to listen. Otherwise, that 50 by 50 will not come. For a period of time, we have to maintain silence. Later, we can say. So let us look at that. I'm going to talk about this 11 days I'm talking. So index. What are the advantages of OOPS? I'll tell you in reality, what is OOPS? I'll tell you. List of object-oriented principles, classes, objects, data encapsulation, data abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing. This already discussed with you. Passing the data from function call to where function definition is called what? Data passing or message passing. How many? How many? 5. Number 1, positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, variable arguments, keyword variable length arguments. Discussed? Remembering concept? Remembering? Now. Now itself. Now. 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 18 minutes. Remembering now. No. I have to refer. Correct? But you ask me, I'll tell immediately. What is the difference between you and me? I'll always sit here and you will roam here and there. Total Hyderabad, you will move and then you will come to the class. Okay, no problem. Come. About class. Only class. See that. Class. Importance and purpose of class concept. Syntax for defining class. Types of data members. Instance data members, class level data members. Today you don't know anything. After 11 days, if you prepare well, according to my guidelines, which I already said, you will become expert. Somebody asks, who are you? I'm a Python OOPS expert. I will OOPS Python, you say. So next, types of methods, instance method, class level method, static methods. What is self and CLS? Self and CLS. I'll explain. Programming examples. Next, on each word, each topic, programming examples. Next, object. Importance and purpose of object creation. Syntax for creating an object. Programming examples on object. Programming examples related to pickling. Somewhere else you heard about pickling? Where? Files. Object serialization, deserialization. And what? Database communication with classes and object. Database communication, I said, with the functions. We need to learn with what? OOPS. Database communication through OOPS. Why OOPS is so popular, students, in Python? Because all AI-based applications are developed by using OOPS only. In Django also, you will come across class-based views. Functional-based views, class-based views. People are trying to say with functional-based views that are not used. Functional-based views. One more approach is what? Class-based views, you need to learn it. Next, about that object is completed. This example is done. Constructors in OOPS. Importance of constructors and types of constructors. Default constructor, parameter is constructor. Rules for constructors and programming examples. Next, destructors in Python, oops, with garbage collector. Already we learned garbage collector. That I'm showing practically how memory space is collected. A garbage collector is one of the Python background program runs behind of every regular program. I will show you how it runs. And it collects what memory space? Unused memory space. How it collects the unused memory space. So with the calculation, I will show you. Followed by what? Importance and purpose. Syntax for defining destructor. Internal flow of destructors. Relationship between destructors and garbage collector. GC module. GC module and programming examples on every part. Next, this entire thing from here to here, all of them related to what? Classes and objects. Similarly, next one is called what? Third, encapsulation and abstraction. I'm telling about each and everything with the programming examples. And classes and objects are the pillars for you. Next, inheritance. We are talking about the inheritance. Why inheritance? What are the types of inheritances? Each and every inheritance programming example. Syntax for inheritance and then what? Programming examples. After that, method overriding in OOPS. Importance and purpose of method overriding. Memory management in method overriding. Programming examples. Who are coming from Java background, method overloading also they might be learned. Anybody learned Java here? I don't ask any questions in Java. Don't worry also. Just I'm asking, who knows Java here? Just question for clarity purpose. Don't know? You have your own fear, I know. If you just say by mistake, you'll say stand up. I said now. Method overloading is there in Java. Such method overloading is not there in Python. I'll give some clarity for you. Anybody knows that? I'll give you. Constructor overriding in OOPS. Importance and purpose of constructor overriding. Memory management in constructor overriding. Programming examples. Next, polymorphism. Polymorphism is a favorite to the students in their colleges. Polymorphism means what? Multiple forms. What is a form? They will lose their form. Is a favorite answer. What is polymorphism? Multiple forms. What is a form? They will lose their form. And most powerful people, by seeing that I am getting some emotions, I've seen a lot of people dictate polymorphism is equal to poly plus morphism is equal to polymorphism. Great people they are. One more thing they will say, polymorphism. Polymorphism is a Greek word. Poly means many. Morphism means one. Polymorphism is called many forms. Is that person go and studied Greek? Huh? These are all cock and bullock stories. We should not believe that. I'll explain the purpose of what? Polymorphism. Baba, sir, I studied using OOPS Java in this, similar to this only. I know that's what I'm saying. 26 years onwards, I'm seeing a lot of students. So before birth, I started teaching. That time onwards, I'm seeing different generations of students. For every 5 years, mindset of the students will change. Correct? BTech fourth year mindset is different. BTech first year mindset is different. So they'll have a lot of gap. So I'm seeing all the students thinking power. People will tell like that only because no technical awareness. I'm explaining completely about this OOPS features. Very, very important. Those who are looking for AI career, this OOPS is very important. Little complicated, but easy. I feel OOPS is very easy. Are you? Pandas, NumPy, all these things runs behind on OOPS only. NumPy, even list also runs behind what? OOPS. What is list? Class. I am discussing the class today. What is the dict? Class. That all those things developed with what? OOPS only. So that I am explaining OOPS importance now. Shall we start? This is an index. Pin to pin, I will explain. So Mayank. So now I will start. So Baba, Ajit Baba, all those things. Listen now. I will make you wonder in this class, provided if you attend my class daily. Now, if you go for attending for every weekly once, like a supervisor, if you come to the class, how many fans are running? whether AC is working or not, whether SAR chair is properly available or not. All these things, if you look into that, it's not correct. Okay, now, of course, you are coming regularly. I appreciate those who are coming daily. So now I'm going to. So vanilla. So I'm from non-ITs, sir. Sir, oops is very from one language to another language. No, oops remains same. C++, Java, .NET, everywhere oops remains same. Now I'm started teaching oops now. After so many years, if any language comes on object oriented, read my concept, learn the syntax of that language, same. Concept of class is same in all the oops, but what is different? Syntax is different. Okay, now C#.NET, C++, Java, Python, Ruby, Smalltalk, all those things class concept is same, but what is different? Yes. Now Giridharan is saying this keyword, this is not a keyword. This is not a keyword. That is what Java people make a mistake. This is not a keyword. This is not a keyword, but people will feel this is a keyword. Now I will move. This is Java related, Giridharan. Now I will move to the further. Okay, Java, you leave it. Come to the point. Now I'm going to start with what are the advantages of what? Oops. Shall I start up? Well, let's start. See, students, now I'm going to say today, 4 p.m., one new situation has come. Before entering into that, new situation came. One, because I copied that message also for you to show. For you to show here. Look at 4:24, this message came in the chat box. So, Rians Bandari. Sir, I'm studying 7th class. My age is 12 years. Is it okay for me to learning? To learn actually, learning is a 12 years boy, na? Is it okay for me to learn Python? Then what should I think about you? Is just what? You are 24 years old or 22 years old. He is 12 years. He is waiting when to become Pythonist. One student said after seeing this message, I posted on that. One girl said, her name is Swati. She said, sir, he is doing overaction, sir. Remove from meeting, he said. 12 years boy, you want to learn Python. Possible? Huh? Possible, but what he will learn? What he will learn? So I said, my dear Rayans, please go to school properly. Wear your dress properly. After getting some maturity, Python and Java and everything you can learn. Okay, sir, I said. He said. So he's eagerly waiting for learning Python. So see how the people are. Do you got this idea in your school days? First of all, do you know Python is there in? No, you don't know anything. You know only your subject. Anyhow, so yes, Kiran, that's true. That's true. They're teaching Python. Even you know, when my daughter was there in 8th class, her ma'am used to teach Java. I went to parents meeting. Java says, in Java, total everything is wrong only. Everything is wrong. Everything wrong. I went to parents meeting. And I asked a small question. In Java, I did not ask, ma'am, what is this? She said, they don't know that parents are from Java background or something. That madam said, sir, you people don't know this Java and all, why, sir, students will take care. Then I opened my video and I shown her. Then they will speak like that. They don't know who is that opposite people like that. So let it be. So teaching, introducing the subject in school level, because if they give correct idea, na, they will learn it. If they give whatever they like it, problem. Correct or not? Let it be. So this is a one I just said. Now I will move to the further. So anyhow, start. What are the advantages? So now coming to the point of what is advantages of OOPS. So some 10 minutes I spoke to you, I chit chat with you on different things. Now coming to the meaning of OOPS. In real time, now I'm going to start with in real time. To develop any project, we need compulsory, we need a language. We need to choose a language. We need to choose a language. Carefully try to follow. We need to choose a language. And that language can satisfy, satisfy two types of principles, can satisfy two types of principles. So they are, I'm trying to give you, they are, here I'm writing. Number one is called procedure oriented principles. Procedure oriented or functional oriented principles. Functional oriented principles. That is number one. Procedure, yes. Procedure oriented principles. Next is called what? Functional oriented principles. Second one is called what? Object oriented principles. Object oriented principles. Now here, object oriented principles. Procedure oriented or what? Functional oriented principles. Dear students, in the beginning of your lectures, whether you remembered or not, in 6 p.m., there is a features of Python. In the features of Python, I did not explain one feature for you. Did you remember? It is both functional and object oriented. This I did not explain. Now I am going to explain. So actually you did not remember, but I remembered. That's why I'm showing. So coming to the point of it, now I'm going to discuss. Here you see third-party support of API modules such as NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. So earlier days you heard about it. Now you are taking exclusive training on that. Did you work on marking examples today? You got it? Nice. Come to the point back. Now I'm going to continue this. Here I'm going to say procedure oriented, and next is called what? Object oriented principles. Now students, under procedure oriented or functional oriented, what are the examples? Example languages. See one is called what? 8086. 8086 assembly language programming. Next is called what? Pascal. Next is called Pascal. Next is called COBOL. Next is called COBOL. COBOL. Next is called C. When we are in BE first year, we got this subject, Pascal. And we have one super sir. He will teach Pascal. Pascal also will forget. Like that he will teach. He teach the program. And when you execute that program, now 5 lines, 25 errors will come. Total day will require to solve that error. We don't know anything. And he will not come to lab. Finally, gone. Second semester COBOL. Big program I have tried it. You only, same person. Only one branding is university, Usmania University. Only branding. Internally, everything is out. COBOL. Same. Finally, house struggled later with different searches. No internet, YouTube, nothing. That time very popular like. Anyhow, students, leave it. C language. Next is what? Up to Oracle 7.3. Oracle 7.3. And next, Python. Python is also what? One of the procedure oriented or functional oriented principles satisfies. Under object oriented principles, examples I am writing. Be careful. There I am writing object Pascal. Object Pascal. Pascal is different. Object Pascal is different. Object COBOL. Still they are using in IBM mainframes. So object COBOL. Next is called Lisp. Next is called Ruby. Next is called Ruby. Next is called C#.NET. Next is called C++. Next is called Java. Next is called, Ruby on Rails. Next is called Python also. So Python belongs to what? Both functional oriented and next is what? Object oriented. Both functional oriented and then object oriented. Are you getting? That means one application when it is giving, you can solve that application. You can write the code of that application in two ways. I can sort it out by using functional principles. I can sort it out that same application by using what? Object-oriented principle. But writing the application with object-oriented application is always better compared to with what? Functions with Python. Functions with Python having some limitations. Functions with object-oriented principles with what? Python having many advantages. Now I want to start giving why object-oriented principles required compared to what? Procedure or what? Functional-oriented principles. The first example I want to start. Even though Python belongs to both what? Functional-oriented and what? Object-oriented. Internally, in Python, everything treated as an object only. Did you understand that? So I will write one important word here. Even though I am going to write it, even though Python belongs to both, Python belongs to both functional oriented, functional and what? Object oriented. Functional and what, object oriented. Functional and object oriented. Internally, everything treated as what? Everything treated as what? Almost everything, the word called everything. Everything is treated as what? Object. Treated as object. So, what will be the advantage of treating everything is an object? What is an advantage of treating everything is an object? That is what I am going to keep the heading. Everything is an object. Everything is an object. So, benefits. It is also can be, this is everything is treated as what? Objects. Benefits. It is also called as what? Advantages of what? Object-oriented principles. So, advantages of object-oriented principles. Now I am going to explain. Especially, I am explaining this in connection with which language? Python language. Come on. Can anybody can say? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. 5 different unique examples I want to say. When you go to internet, what are the advantages of oops? They will write investment cost is less, maintenance issues are less. These are all called English words. These things, if you tell the interview, they will say, show me one program, maintenance issues are less. What you will do? Huh? Investment cost is less. Will you show practically? These are all, we should not give it. We have to give practical answers, students. Number 1. Come on. Number 1. Anybody else can say? First point already, everything treated as what? Object. Benefit. First benefit. Madhu Babalu, are you there in the class? When I said here, features of Python, platform independent. You see here, in effect, in platform independent, all values stored in the form of object, and they can store unlimited data, unlimited amount of data. Already explained. Explained or not? Has Hence, Java objects contain size restricted, whereas Python objects contains unlimited size. And unlimited values can store. In Python, all values are treated as what? Objects. That day only I wrote. Why I wrote that day? Because it is today. 3 months, what will happen? I know today only. It's not horoscope. It's a Python subject. Because some forecasting is required when teaching the subject. Anyhow, students, come on now. Come on, stores. Object stores what data? Unlimited amount of data. Unlimited amount of data. Unlimited amount of data. Unlimited amount of data. That is number one. Number two. Second example I am going to say. When you come to the second example, take an example here. Suppose take an ATM, the present ATMs which are working in front of you. Or any internet banking, you take it. Internet banking, you take it. Any ATM which you are entering from ATM center, your PIN you are entering, and the amount which you are withdrawing, you are entering the data in the form of echo characters. In the form of echo characters, some dot dot or something will come. The moment when you enter it, when it is visiting to the other machine which is remotely located, the data what you are entering from one location is sending to the server over the network in the form of what? Encrypted format. Encrypted format. Encrypted format. It is sending in the form of cipher text. It is sending in the form of cipher text. To send this data in the form of it, you need one closed format that can be called what here, object. Object can send always the data in the form of what? Internally over the network in the form of what? Object. This will make the hacker, even if they trap it, this data cannot be understandable to them. This will increase what? Security. This will increase the security. If you develop this type of application like in C language, which is a purely functional based programming, what the data you are entering at the machine, which is implemented in C language, even though you type the data, that is sending to the other machine in the form of which text? Plain text they will be sending. Plain text. Plain text means what? If anybody trap it, they will understand what the data you entered. That leads to the security problems or not? So if you use it to send the data in the form of object, objects can send the data in the form of what? Encrypted format. Security will be achieved with this. So I'm going to write it. What is this now? Confidential data transferred between multiple remote machines. So I'm going to multiple remote machines in the form of what? In the form of what? Encrypted format here, encrypted format in the bracket. It is nothing but a ciphertext format where you can get it. What you can get it? Because of this, security will be achieved. Instead of that, I think by seeing your faces, I understand that only you are seeing the English words, but you did not get any feel of that. Suppose you are a C programmer, you are a C student. Suppose you are there in Hyderabad, Amirpet. You are in Amirpet. And somebody asked you, transfer some 50,000 to the person who is staying in high-tech city. And what you are doing? You are keeping 25,000 in one hand and keeping 25,000 in one hand and going on the way and showing to everybody, I have 25,000 in both the hands. When you go to a lonely place, people will attack on you and they will take away that. That is called what? Unsecured. If we come to any object-oriented programming, this person, what he will do? He will create B is equal to bag. B is equal to bag of. What is this B? L1 is equal to list of. What is L1? List object. What is the B here? Bag. In the bag, he will keep the data. He will take the bag and he will move. Everybody in the road is going with bag only. What is there inside the bag? Nobody knows. Is it not called a little security will be there or not? So keeping the data inside the bag and going is little secured compared to what keeping in the hands and going. It is a simple analogy I am giving. What is the meaning of plain text and what? Ciphertext. Did you understand? Now, coming to the point back, this is number one. Second advantage is called what? Security. Third one, I am going to talk about it. What is the next third one? If it is a purely functional based programming, suppose in this place, this is called a machine M1, which is containing some 1000 values, students. 1000 values are available. I want to transfer this 1000 values to some other machine M2. If it is a C programming, purely C programming, if it is, this will send the data value by value, it will transfer. Value by value, it will transfer. Value by value, it will transfer. If you transfer value by value, is it taking less communication time or more communication time? More communication time it will take. Definitely it is a drawback. This is called implementation of functional programming purely. You come to what? Object oriented you come. Create what here? O1 is equal to what? Bag you created. What is this? O1 is called object. Keep these values in where? Come on. O1 and send this O1 at a time. Is it not object is holding any number of values or not? If it is a list, L1 is equal to list of L1 dot append of append of append of. Is L1 contains all at once or not? Send this values all at once. Which is better? All at once is better. One by one is better. All at once is better. What is the best communication to send? Value by value. All at once. All at once means I have to keep all values in one object or not. That object will make us to transfer all at once. This is called one of the effective communication can be achieved. Now I am going to write it. The large volume of data, the large volume of data, the large volume of data can be transferred no, between what? Multiple remote machines all at once. So that gives you what communication? Effective communication. Did you understand this now? What do you mean by effective communication? Less time or more time? Less time. This is one of the beautiful advantage. Because these are all you can do practically in the class. Fine. Let's move to the further. Now I am going to enter into the one more kind of thing. Take C programming, you take it. C programming. Purely C programming, you take it. Functions concept, you take it. Best example is C language functions. Think like a Python functions only. Here I am taking sum of, I want to do sum of 10, 20. What is this line is called? You tell me, everybody. Function call. Sum of 10, 20. Next is what? Sub of 10, 20. Next is called what? MUL of 10, 20. Next is called a div of 10, 20. Div of 10, 20. How many function calls? 4 function calls. What is this 10, 20 called? 10, 20 called input. Is it input or not? How many times I said my input here? 4 times I said same input here. And I will have definition here. For sending same values, I am using what? 4 times I am writing again and again. Is it not taking more memory space? You may ask a question, sir, don't write here, take inside. Inside of this definition, if I take it, again there I need to take A is equal to 10, B is equal to 10, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, like that I need to take or not? You know already, inputs can be taken in 2 places, either from function call or from function definition. You know that approaches now? 4 approaches. Take the inputs either from function call or from where? Function body. But here we are taking the input from where? Either function call or function body. Am I writing the same data again and again or not? Suppose if somebody asks, change the data, I have to change everywhere else or not? So now the inputs in functional programming, everybody, the inputs in functional programming is available either in function call or in function body? Yes or no? The input of the functions to be available either in function call or in function body. How many ways you can take input in our class? Either through function call or inside the function body, correct? Yes. So how many ways? Two ways. But if I want to say 10, 10, 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20, multiple times I have to write or not? Is it not taking more space and more time also? I mean, the data is available inside of where? Input data is always available around what? Functions. Always available in functions, but you come to Python once again. Python objects you come. Suppose I want to sort L1 is equal to 10, 4, 20, minus 4 and 25. This is my data. This is called what? Data present in where? Object. On that object, what I will do? S1, L1 dot what I will do? Sort. L1 dot what I will do? Reverse. L1 dot what I will do? Copy. So all my functions are working on where? Single object only, correct or not? So how many places I am storing my data? In one place only I am storing. Is it not working on that objects or not? Earlier, we wrote the data inside a function call or it function body. But here I am storing the data in where? Object. You are not getting. Because by seeing your faces, I can understand. Let me give you an example. Mobile. Mobile means you will understand. What is the mobile? Your mobile is called what? Object. In that you have contact list or not? Contact list is there. Contact numbers are there or not? Yes. Contact list is, mobile is called what? Object. One X person contact list is there. This is stored how many times? One time. I will use this one time. This X contact is stored in object. I can call it as what? Obj dot I can use what? Call. On this number I can call. On this number I can do what? SMS also I can send or not? I can do what? WhatsApp chatting also I can do, correct or not? I can do one UPI payment also I can do, correct or not? I can make one video call also, correct or not? You can do what? Something, some sort of operations you can do. How many times this data stored in? But how many functions I am applying? Is it not saving our memory space? So data centrically storing the data stored in central place of our object. Another example. I hope you are followed. One more example. O1 is my data, which is containing AB, which is containing AB. Now I am writing, this is A and this is B. I am placing 1020 here. Now I am writing DEF. What I am doing? Sum of. Now I am writing C is equal to A plus B. I am saying. What I am doing now? O1 dot sum. What is the answer is coming? Sum function operates on where? O1. How many times I stored AB? A plus B, 10 plus 20 stored in one local variable. Next is called O1 dot what I am saying? Sub. I will define sub. DEF, what I am doing? Sub of. Now I am writing C is equal to what? A minus B. How many times my data was stored in? One time. I will do O1 dot what again? MUL of. What is this again? Stored how many times? One time. Again multiplication function. So data stored how many times? But later I can change my data one time only, 1.2, 1.3. Is it not giving the data accordingly or not? But if it is a functional programming purely, the data must present either in function call or in the body. If I change that, I have to change in every place. So difference between data storing in object-oriented programming, data always stored in where? Objects. In functional programming, data is always available around the functions. Around means what? Either in function call or in function body. Did you catch that? Now, data is available. Data is available around what? Objects. Data is available around objects. That gives you what? Efficient memory space. Efficient memory management will come. That is called what? People says the one of the hi-fi terminology in the internet, investment cost is less centered. Investment cost is less not because of money point of it. So in the memory space storage point of view, they will take within the less space. I can do many more operations. I hope this is available. Up gets what? Gets what memory space, guys? Gets which memory space? Less memory space. Okay, guys. Clear? In functional programming, how the data is available? In function call or in function body. You have seen practical in the class. In object-oriented programming, where are you storing the data? In object. How many places? One time. On that object, I can do multiple operations. On one phone number, I said no, multiple operations you can do. How many times that the function contact number stored? One time only. But how many times I am doing? Many times I am doing it. Getting students? Now, most important concept, students. Now let me put a question. What are the reusable techniques you know in Python so far? Tell me. How many ways are there to reuse the things in Python? Come on. Lohit Kumar, good. Right. Three things are there. Number one, functions. Number two, modules, packages. Are you giving your own answer or following internet students, online students? You are giving your own answer. Yes. Are you satisfied with your answer? No, did you satisfy with your answer? Are you seeing on the answer and giving? Offline students, are you following online students? You are giving your own trend. Okay, good. That time good. So we should not follow anybody. They have to follow us. Are you creating the trend? Oh. How many ways are there to reuse? Three. Number one, functions, modules, packages. What is the use of function? Functions are meant for performing the operation and provides the code reusability in the same program, but not across the programs. Modules are used for reusing the global variables, functions, and class names from one program to another program, provided all the main program and module name present in the same program. Explained already. Same folder, same program, no, same folder. Third one, but not across the folders. To access everywhere else, go for what? Package. What is the package definition? Package is a collection of modules. Modules is a collection of global variables, function names, class names. Class names we are getting now. Getting clarity? Next. In OOPS, we are getting one concept called inheritance is also adding to the reusable concepts now. Inheritance is a reusable concept in where? Oops. In functional level reusabilities are what? Functions, modules, packages. Sir, what is the difference, sir? Now I'm going to give you perfect point. X.py. X.py. There is a function called F1. There is a function called F1. Some body is there. Some body is there. There is one more function called F2. There is one more function called F2. F2. This is called F2 dot. This is one more function. Okay, students. Now, students, carefully follow. Suppose there is one thing called what, this is called functional programming purely. What is this now? KVR.py is a program. This is my program. KVR want to use, is a separate programmer. He want to use F1 and F2 is a separate program. What is this X is called? What is this X is called? File name and what now? Yes, file name and what now? Module name. Module name. Are you following me? Yes, tell me now how to go for it. Tell me. From X, import F1 comma F2. Marchipoyaru kada ivanni? This syntaxes you forget, but you are saying import. Import is also correct. But most effective is what? From X, import what? F1 comma F2. What is X? Module name. What is F1 and F2? Do you know, students, one thing? What is F1? Function name. In Python, what is the function name is called? Function name is called? Correct. Object. Object behind is what? Class. What is that class name? Function class. Even though Python functions are belongs to functional, but function is also called what? One object name. So Python, even though it is a functional, but technically it is called what? Object oriented only purely. How? DEF, function name, list of formal parameters. That function name itself is called what? Object. Of which class? Function class. That I already mentioned it. Anonymous functions also is shown. This is called which type? Function type. So when I go for importing F1 and F2, when I am importing now, this time kvr.py, we get the memory space for what? F1 and F2 also. Memory space is created there also. Careful, this is a very important. Later I will do what? F1. Later I will do what? F2 I will call in my program. Whenever I import with functional programming like that, even though you defined it, you are reducing the so much of development time. But when you import it, the memory space will be taken for what? F1 and F2. But what is an advantage here? You need not write the coding. Correct or not? But what is happening? Memory space is created. In where? Module level importing, package level importing and everything. Suppose one more person is called what? One more person is called what? Rakesh. Rakesh is our student. Rakesh.py. He is also saying what? Import X. Import X. X.F1. X dot what? F2. That time also memory space is taken for what? F1 and F2. That means whenever I am importing the module and when I am calling that, it is getting the memory space. But advantage is what? Need not to write the code. But the drawback is what? Whenever I import 10 times, if I import 10 times memory space is taking, is it not functional programming is a heavyweight component? But when you come to where object-oriented programming, there is a concept called what? Inheritance. We are getting functions once again in where? Oops. In oops, you are getting once again. How I am going to write it? Here you see. Class, I am writing something. Class, something like, something like HYD I am writing. And you don't worry, students. You don't worry what I am writing. Here I am writing, self I am writing. You don't worry about it. Here also I am writing self. Here I am writing self here. Now I am going to write it. KVR. Here I am writing class KVR of what I am writing? HYD. This is called inheritance. In that, what is coming? From the class HYD, what are we getting? Self. So here I am writing from X, import what? HYD. Only class name you are taking, class name will not take memory space. Class will not take memory space. I'll explain. I'll come to that. And I'm just using what? X you can call. You can call just X. You can call F1 and you can call F2. I'll tell you the techniques for what? How to call it. This is called purely what? Memory space. It is purely called what? Inheritance kind of technique I am applying. Are you able to follow now? When I am going to say from import, HYD is a class name. That class name I am using to get it into KVR class. Inside of the KVR class, I will call these functions. That means when I use inheritance for reusability, memory space will not be created for what? Methods. Functions we call it as in functional. The same functions, if I use it in whoops, we call it as a word called what? Methods. Right now, don't worry. I am giving the conclusion here. Functional programming versus object-oriented programming. Functional programming, reusable things called functions, modules, packages will take what? Memory space when I import. But when I come to OOPS, inheritance is one of the another reusable technique. That inheritance also will give you what? Reusability, but reusability of functions and classes will not take memory space. One best example, if you don't understand. So OOPS based applications are lightweight components because inheritance based reusability always takes what time? Less memory space and less time to get it. Less memory space always gives fast execution or not. Simple example. Your parent worked in government service for 40 years. He got 1 crore rupees. He saved it. Education, everything he survived, he gave to you. And he saved 1 crore for you. And you are the student. And do you have that money with you? Do you have that money? No, he is having in his account. And do you have that money with you? But they are available with you only. You are feeling that they are available, but in reality, they don't exist. Are you following? This is your money only, but physically it is not available. That means they are available with you, but they don't take what? Memory space. In your account is not there, in your packet it is not there, nothing memory space is taking. It is available with your base class called your parent. And child is ready to use it. Whenever you need, parent will give to you. Is it not called reusability of getting the money from parent to the child? It is called which level of reusability? Object-oriented reusability. You should not tell these examples in real time when you go to an interview. This is only for analysis purpose to get it. Functional-oriented reusability, object-oriented reusability. Functional-oriented reusability, object-oriented reusability. Functional-oriented reusability will take lot of space when we import functions from modules. When you come to the OOPS, inheritance concept will give you. There also I am reusing the functions only, but that time memory space will not be taking through inheritance. That is a special advantage. Neither I will write the code nor memory space is taken. In modules, I don't write the code, but memory space is taken for importing time. I hope you got it. Clear? Huh? What is the difference between functional oriented and object oriented? In functional oriented, data is available around the objects, around the functions, and the reusability will take what? More memory space. But when you come to object oriented, memory space reusability will not be there like modules. And here inheritance is there, and it takes very less amount of memory space. Plus, it takes data centrally stored in one place only. That is an object, not stored inside the functions, not stored inside the function definitions. So I hope you are understanding. Inheritance based applications will take what? Less amount of time. So how many reusabilities are overall together? 4. Functions, modules, packages at functional level. When you come to object oriented, what is the best reusability? Inheritance. Inheritance says what? Don't write the code, don't take the memory space. In modules, don't write the code, but memory space is taken. This is a keen of observation is required. Compulsory, everybody will ask this question. So inheritance, OOPS provides what? We can build high-end reusable applications. That is the OOPS are called what? Lightweight components. Functional based are called what? Heavyweight components. Because the moment when I import through module, it takes memory space. But when I'm importing, when I'm inheriting from one class to another class, it will take very much less memory space. Because neither we write the code, nor it takes the memory space during inheritance time. That I'll show you in the class. Okay, now, students in the online. That's why, since it is a lightweight, all robotics designing you take. Complete coding is with OOPS. Complete coding is with OOPS only. Analytics you take it. Total third-party modules developed in OOPS only. Now, I'm going to show you one small introduction for you students. One small introductory notes I will show you. Let us come back. I'll show you some small introductory notes. Let us watch. Introduction to object-oriented principles. Let us see. In real time, to develop any project, we need to choose a language. The language which we select for developing the project can satisfy two types of principles. They are procedure oriented or functional oriented principles, object oriented principles. In other words, in industry, we have two types of programming languages. They are procedure or functional oriented programming languages, object oriented programming languages. Now I am writing procedure or functional oriented programming languages. Easy. Now I'm going to say, if a programming language satisfies procedure or functional oriented principles, then that languages are called procedure oriented or functional oriented programming languages. C, Pascal, COBOL, Python up to 7.3, etc. Oracle. Python is also called one of the functional oriented programming language. Coming to next, object oriented. I said here, functional oriented principles. Actually, people has to explain in C language, functional oriented principles. What is meant by functions discussion? They need to explain. You may ask a question, sir, why you did not explain in Python? Python is what basically object oriented. Even though it is a function name itself is acting as what object. Beginning day only I wrote. Function name is a valid variable name treated as an object name whose object type is what? Class function. So even though we write functions internally, they are treated as what? Object oriented only. So coming to the point of it, if any programming language satisfies object oriented principles, then that languages are called object oriented programming languages. Very soon, I will introduce the principles of OOPS. Next example, Lisp, Smalltalk, Ruby, C++, Java, C#.NET, Python, from Oracle 8 onwards. MySQL is also object oriented. Anybody learn Oracle now? They don't tell OOPS principles. They don't tell OOPS principles. They don't tell exception handling also. Select star from employee, delete. They will tell that only. OOPS principles no, exceptions no, nothing. Every time employee table, department table, employee table, department table. How to design the table also they don't tell. Normalization also they don't tell. Okay, let us start. Even though Python belongs to both the functional and object oriented programming language, internally everything treated as object. Beautiful heading. Everything in Python is an object. Advantages or advantages of OOPS. Number one, it stores unlimited amount of data. Large volume of data transferred between multiple remote machines all at once and gets effective communication. The confidential data transferred between multiple remote machines in the form of ciphertext encrypted format. Ciphertext means encrypted format. So that security enhanced. Enhanced means what? Improved. Next, the data always available around the objects and gives less memory. Next, we build high-end reusable applications by using inheritance. Inheritance versus modules. Compulsory have the difference. Did you understand? Functional oriented and object oriented difference? Functional oriented, data stored in where? Either in function call or in function body. In object oriented, data stored in objects. Second, functional programming, module level importing of functions takes memory space. Object oriented programming, inheritance reusability, functions will not take memory space because we are getting the functions from one class into another class. That will not take memory space. This is what is the difference between both the functional and object oriented. Python satisfies functional oriented principles as well as what? Object oriented. Which one is the lightweight component? Object oriented. That's why Python applications can be developed using functional programming, can also developed by using object oriented programming. I hope you have the clarity. So if I take an interview, I will ask a question. How can you justify Python is a functional programming and object oriented programming? What is your answer? Will you give this table of difference? Yes. So you are thinking First of all, that question has to come. First of all, I have to remember that time what is my mood, I don't know. Whether I will give it or not. What is my success rate, I don't know. Probability is 0.5, 0.5. Answer is 50%. Correct? Once we go to target, that we have to fire it. Like that, you have to go. Full preparation is required. Correct? Now come to the point. Everything will say, correct. But you have to do it now. So come to the point. Now I'm moving to the further. Shall we move to the further? Now I'm going to say, this is about introduction to OOPS. What is the question comes in interview now? What is the question comes in interview? What are the advantages of OOPS? You have to say this. Suppose if you say, I will ask a question. Show me this. Will you show? I will take this. I can show. This also we can say. Where? Pickling you take it. Pickling example you take it. Separate values, put it in the object. All at once stored. Next you go for this. I will show this in the data network programming. Even in Python also you can show. Even I'm telling database communication is there. Database communication with OOPS here. Database communicate. That's why I kept here. Pickling also I kept here. I will do that. I'll show you that. Next, this part. Anyhow, I'm going to show everything in the programmatically in my class. Shall I move to the further? Now I'm entering into which principles? Object-oriented principles. Python satisfies which language? Both functional and object-oriented. What you learn in functional programming? Parameters, arguments, local variables, global keyword, global function, types of arguments, lambda function, so many things you learned or not? That are the topics. In OOPS also, any language satisfies object-oriented principles. It has to satisfy what? Object-oriented principles has to be done. Now I'm going to talk about object-oriented programming principles. Object-oriented programming principles I'm going to introduce. Shall I start? Yes. Number one, to say a language is object-oriented programming language. To say object-oriented programming language, then it has to satisfy object-oriented principles. Object-oriented principles. Are you sincere or not sincere? Just I'm asking question. Are you sincere? Just can you raise your hand once? One student is saying, since keeping the pen like that. Are you sincere keeping like this? Are you sincere? One student raised a hand. Who is that? I will see. So hand raising is now immediately taken off also. So to say object-oriented principle, it has to say object-oriented principle. For example, you take, am I sincere? When you are saying to me, I should also say to you, no? Are you sincere? Okay. How do you know that I am sincere? How do you know that I am sincere? No words. Okay. So because I'm sitting in front of you, that's why you are feeling like that or what? Here, no internal marks. You can speak anything. Come on. Am I sincere? Right. Okay. Mayank is saying, sir, you come daily on time. Is it only that? No. Next. Subject. Deep coverage of the subject. That is an important. Coming only on time, not correct. Coming on time, at the same time, more deepness, more bouncing in subject. Bouncing means not understanding. When you understand, you'll get a lot of energy. You'll jump from anywhere. 10th floor also you can jump to ground because subject will save you. If you ball you take, if it is bouncing, you will play more and more, correct or not? If the ball is punctured, will you bounce? No. So deep subject coverage, plus controlling the students. Controlling students means not by saying only like that. When you deeply is covering the subject, automatically student will listen. Correct or not? Like that. Now, next, tell me. Next. After that, similarly, to say language is what? Object-oriented programming. This also will say what? Some satisfying the principles or not? Now, if you want to be a sincere student, the principles are wake up at early morning 5 o'clock a.m. and opening the Python notes, reading up to 7 o'clock a.m. and refreshing and going to the class at 9 o'clock, 9 to 11 class, 11 to 2 practicing, and 2 to 3 lunch, 3 to 6 again studying, 6 to 8 class, 8 to 8:30 dinner, 8:30 to 10:30 reading, practicing, again wake up at 5 o'clock. This is called sincere principles. Who is sincere here? In this class, who is sincere? Come on. Except the last one, huh? Right. Okay, students. No problem. Just I wrote it. That means you are sincere. Okay, no issue in that. That you decide. To say something is object oriented, it has some principles are designed by the people. Number one, I'm saying. What is the number one? Classes. Spell out. Classes. Number two, what? Objects. Spell out. Objects. Number three, called what? Data encapsulation. Spell out. Data encapsulation. Number four, data abstraction. Spell out. Abstraction. Number five, inheritance. Spell out. Number six, polymorphism. Your favorite answer. Your favorite answer. When I explain polymorphism, you will say, sir, beautifully will say. Next, seventh is what? Message passing. Message passing. And what this answers? What this answers? Naveen ready. So, you know everything, and moreover, you should follow your rules and regulations. That's why you are sincere, sir. And you will try to learn new things daily. Good. Naveen, thank you. Now we'll move to the further. These are the rules. These are the rules. You also studied these things in your college. But the only thing is, when you go to the detailed of it, then you are going to be wrong. What is the class? Your faculty, my faculty, every faculty used to say without any real-time knowledge. What is the class? They'll say collection of objects. That is the blunder. That is the number one blunder. That is what is circulating in all the places. When everybody is talking about the wrong, everybody feel correct. But person like me showing that is a blunder, how many people will see that? Only you people you are sitting in the class, but outside people are also there or not? To change them, who is required? Either you should be a teacher to them or they should be my student. Otherwise, they cannot change. Next, abstract object. What is an object definition? You know, instance of a class is called object. What is instance? You don't know. Butterfly definition. Second one, gone. Third one, what is encapsulation? What is abstraction? Where we use it? How do you provide the security with that? What is the use of that in my real-time application? I'll tell you. Inheritance, it is the version. Polymorphism, one in, that is multiple forms. You already well aware of it. Okay. Interviewer will ask, what is the form? You will lose your form. Message passing, you are already expert in writing exams. Message passing. Passing message is called message passing. Exam answer under that. That is exam answer. So, like that, you people completed your career. But when you go to class, only the word called class and object almost discuss 8 hours. That 8 hours now, you will get confusion, you will get it. Last day, everything is totally clear. But that much is there inside the class and object. These are the two pillars. On the top of the two pillars, this Whoops application runs. Shall we start up? Fine. Who are you? Objects you are. Beginning, I asked this question. Constructing house, plan. You remember that? Beginning, when you are a very small kid in the class. Did you remember that? So who are you? Object. Behind object, who is there? Class. So who is your class? Student. And you are what? Object of student. So where are you storing the data? In object. To create an object, what is required? What is first? Class first, object first? Class. Later, what will come? Object. You remember that fundamental. So now I will link to that concept today. Shall we start now? Anything to create on the earth, normally, I am talking in life. Anything to have creation on the earth, definitely some innovation has to take place or not. If you want to park your car on the parking area, that formula has to be created for preparing that car or not. So anything is available physically in front of your eyes. Behind that creation, some formula is required. That formula is called what? Class. I will go to that. Right now, did you understand these formulas first of all? Did you understand these principles? These principles developed by, come on, developed by whom? Python people says Rossum, wrong answer. Java people will say James Gosling, wrong answer. C#.NET people people will feel that Microsoft people develop, wrong answer. These principles are developed by OMG group. OMG. What is OMG? అందుకే మీకు ఏం రాదు అసలు. OMG, Object Management Group. Object Management Group. Who is this? Syed Noor, Antonia. Noor, my dear student, you are a good student actually. But all of a sudden, why Anthony is your friend or what? Noor. So, Anthony is a developer of what? CX_ Oracle or Oracle DB. MySQL, no. It is developed by Oracle and its affiliates. So OMG group. So this is, some people will ask this question. Who developed this OOPS principles? So don't tell this Rossum, something like that. Object Management Group, it's an open community. He developed that. They developed these sincere principles. This part is, now I'm entering into the concept called what? Class. Now I'm going to show you one small things here. Come on, read out. Object-oriented principles or features or concepts in Python. To say programming language is object-oriented, then it has to satisfy the following principles. Number 1, classes. Number 2, object. Number 3, data encapsulation. Number 4, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing. This part already discussed because positional parameters, again it will come now again it will come in OOPS. Functions, if you know perfectly now, OOPS is very easy. And only thing is tricky, some tricky mechanism is there that you need to understand. Okay, now, shall I move to further now? I will start with what? Classes concept. Classes concept I am going to discuss. How many OOPS principles are there? 7. Can you spell out once? I want to listen. Classes, objects, data encapsulation, data abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing. Somebody ask what is a class? Don't tell anything. You write a code and show. They will understand. Later, after writing the code, you speak about the concept. They will understand. If you speak beginning only, whatever you like it, if that person is not having acceptance state, problem for you. Directly you write an example of class, directly create an object, store the data, then you speak about it. Then he will take, because you are showing everything is in the programming. If you don't know, he will learn it. And don't think that all interviewer knows everything, and especially in Python, don't think that they know everything, because different people are migrating to Python and they are trying to work and they are taking an interview, and don't feel that, don't first of all get fear when you are facing an interview. Understand? And think that he is also like you, but is a little senior than you. And if you know everything, and interview facing is not a difficult. I said now already, read the notes thoroughly. Shall we start now, class? No. Let us start. So 7:30 now. Today or tomorrow? Today, tomorrow? Today. Because even if I start up to 7:40 only, I can start, but I cannot. Even if I go for it, it won't complete. So I have to talk about definition and everything. So better I will start tomorrow. Okay, na? So freshly, you will understand what is the class and everything now. So uh, study this and come to the class tomorrow. 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Don't miss. Sharp is there in our dictionary. It is there is the first word. Don't miss the classes. Okay, students. Stop. Fine. Don't miss tomorrow class. Lohit, sir, what is yes in whoops? Let me complete. Let me complete all whoops. Let me complete total whoops. Then you will come across what is yes. See, when you are listening, something like one story, one story. Suppose Bahubali. What is Bahubali? Before the theater, if you ask, I cannot say. After watching movie, you will say, what is Bahubali? You will answer. Correct or not? What is oops? After my oops is over, what is oops? You will tell. Beginning, I don't want to tell you what is the meaning of yes. Let me explain in depth of it. What is oops? Then you will tell what is the meaning of yes in oops. Are you following this? Right. So, coming to this, gentle reminder, sir, when you will give question bank for Python, NumPy pandas. So, I'm talking about that only. I'm taking data sets. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss. After I discuss one or two case studies, then I will post the data sets with the questions. Okay, now? So, nothing to worry about it. I'll give you that. Don't worry about it. Giridharan, don't worry. I'll give you that. So, Mayank, today, Django batch started on 7 p.m. How can we attend, sir? Attend through Zoom only. So daily, how you are attending Python class, Mayank? Like that only we have to attend. I mean, his intention is class. So if you feel Django is important, you can go to Django. Python is important, Python class. Same time. I mean, I understand, Mayank. Just I'm joking with you. So I understand. So take two laptops, one laptop, one side, one laptop, another side. Both of them need to listen. So same time. Huh? So fine, fine. So now we have to leave the class for Django. Okay, not like that. Now, okay, students, take care. It is your choice, students. And I'll stop my class. And tomorrow, don't miss both the classes. Thank you. All the best. మామూలుగా డేటాబేస్ కనెక్టివిటీ నేర్చుకున్నావు కదా మన క్లాస్ రికార్డ్స్ వస్తాయి కదా, పెంచాలంటే రికార్డ్స్ వస్తాయి, లిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ టపుల్స్ ఆఫ్ రికార్డ్స్ లిస్ట్ వస్తాయి, దాన్ని డేటా ఫ్రేమ్ లో కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తాం. డిఎఫ్ ఈక్వల్ టు పీడీ డాట్ డేటా ఫ్రేమ్ ఆఫ్ రికార్డ్స్ అని డేటా ఫ్రేమ్ లో వచ్చేస్తాం. ఇది నేను చెప్తే బాగుంటుంది కరెక్టే. Students in the online. Any more doubts, my dear students? Having the doubt, can raise your hands. I'll clarify. So no more doubts, huh? Okay, students. So no more doubts are there. I'll just log out and I'll upload these notes. Try to read well and don't miss tomorrow class. Thank you, students. All the best.